Bezos, even though he's a liberal, the newsroom, as they call it, rose up against him because he didn't want an editorial endorsing any candidate. Now he owns the damn company, and they really bit him in the tuchus. So he says, we're going to fix this. I'm changing the Washington Post. The guy that owns the LA Times, he didn't put out an editorial endorsing Harris from the left. He just fired the whole editorial board and said, you know what, this is my paper. We've got to get balance here. What's happening is the American people have had enough. Some good news. Some of these corporate media platforms are collapsing. That is good news because we don't need propagandists and demagogues. Either you're an opinion show or you're a news show, but you can't be both at the same time. And here we are. And probably the worst of the worst is this MSNBC. MSNBC, like NBC, are owned by Comcast. Many of you are familiar with Comcast. They make you pay a fortune every month for your cable. And Comcast is a oligopoly. That is, it owns a number of companies. And now it's going to spin off. Did you hear this? They're going to spin off MSNBC and CNBC. Now, my understanding is CNBC is pretty good. They're pretty much straight business news. But MSNBC, we know what that is. That's American Pravda and Al Jazeera. It's about as sleazy and awful as it gets. And their ratings are dead. Their hosts are maniacal. It's just terrible. So they're going to spin it off. So I thought to myself, well, that's interesting. What the hell does that mean? They're still going to own it and spin it off? Then I got to thinking, they're going to spin it off so they can eventually sell it. To get it out from the umbrella corporation, spin it off. That's my guess. That's my surmise. That would be a good thing, but it'll probably be like garage sale prices. Because who wants a losing network with a bunch of Marxist Islamists and low IQ morons? If you want to do that, you just buy NBC. Why would you waste your time with MSNBC? But anyway, so MSNBC, not much unlike CNN, not much unlike the New York Times, the Washington Post, but you see things happening. Bezos, even though he's a liberal, the newsroom, as they call it, rose up against him because he didn't want an editorial endorsing any candidate. Now he owns the damn company, and they really bit him in the tuchus. So he says, we're going to fix this. I'm changing the Washington Post. The guy that owns the LA Times, he didn't put out an editorial endorsing Harris from the left. He just fired the whole editorial board and said, you know what, this is my paper. We've got to get balance here. What's happening is the American people have had enough. They're not watching MSNBC. CNN is going to have, they said, huge layoffs. Why? They have no ratings. MSNBC has no ratings. MSNBC has no ratings. And they're not making any money. And so now finally these corporatists are saying, all we're taking is the flack and we're getting nothing out of this. Now we take a little credit for this here. At The Blaze, I've been saying that Comcast, Paramount, Times Warner, these companies, when it comes to ABC, Disney, we need to hold them to account. How do we do that, Mark? Well, some of you have stock through your IRA, mutual funds, or whatever, in these companies. You can show up at their annual meetings and you can raise a ruckus. And so the democratic process does exist in capitalism with these major corporations. We just don't exercise our might. I talked about this at some length, not at great length, on Fox right after the election, that the only way this is going to get fixed is if we do something about the corporations that own them. I don't mean kill their free speech. I don't mean regulate them. I mean, use our dollars, use our eyes and our ears, and have an impact. The market system, that's what it's called, the free market system. Well, MSNBC sees they have a problem. In fact, Sacco and Vanzetti, a.k.a. Mika and Joe Scarborough, saw they have a problem as they waddled down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss President Trump's ring. And President Trump, as I said, is much more magnanimous than I am. Apparently, he was very friendly with them. They met for a while. Yeah. They just called him Hitler. He's going to Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. Hey, can we come see you, please? Yes. And by the way, you can see what liars they are. Hitler.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to LevinTV.com and subscribe now.